Hello, everyone, and we are back after 2 weeks. I know everyone's been questioning where we are. By everyone, I mean in the world. Um, no longer do you have to wait. We had some
Brief
busy
hiatus.
schedules.
We really thank everyone who has stuck around through thick and thin. You
Mhm.
see, outside of our lives as internet superstars,
Mhm.
we're also, working actors
Yeah.
who who have turbulent lives outside. We were getting in scandals and
Yes. And talking about how we don't
controversies.
shower.
Oh yeah, now that we are Hollywood actors, we have abstained from showering for the last 2 weeks. In
We've
fact,
progressed past the need for it, you could say.
yeah, we've
Um,
come to the income bracket where you have to stop showering, where they cut off your water supply.
yeah, yeah. More on that later.
Film that.
Um, yeah. So today, since it's been a few weeks, we've got some stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about a movie I watched last night. Evan didn't get to it. The Suicide Squad. Um, Stranger Things 4 is coming next year. That's basically the extent of that. So there you go.
You mentioned.
Disney's in some trouble with some of their actresses who were in big movies that just came out. Um, James Gunn said some things. We have Addison Rae and Camila Cabello. I think that's how you say her name.
Reviews.
In trailers for their movies that are coming out soon, and more. Um, Evan, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing swimmingly, Declan.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that.
The weather
Um,
is finally not poisonous in Texas at the moment.
okay.
We've been alternating between 100-degree weather and like complete rain and thunderstorms. So it's nice to
Mm,
have some blue skies.
that's good. Um, So what would you like to start with today? I know you have some movies that you have seen that I have not seen,
Yes.
and I know there is also a singular movie I have seen that you have not seen. So we can kick off with any one of those.
Well, I think your movie is probably in the highest demand at the moment.
Sure.
So let's start off with a little recap slash review
Hmm.
of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
So this is James Gunn, the Suicide. This It's not called James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. It's called The Suicide Squad. Um,
The beautifully twisted mind of
from
James.
the I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, it's just called the Suicide Squad, but it's from the horrible, excruciatingly painful, messed up mind of James Gunn. It's just what a
The
terrible mind that.
horribly perverse from
Yeah.
the perverse empty. They
You
should get
think
really creative with those things. They should be like from the damaged, emotionally unstable mind of Evan Blackwell.
please come back? Do you think question? So for anyone who doesn't know what we were talking about, back when the first trailer for the Suicide Squad movie came out, um, we talked about how in the trailer it said from the horribly beautiful mind of James Gunn. Um, and it's pretty funny. Do you think James Gunn asked for that to be put in there, or
That's definitely like a Warner Brothers being like, "Hey, this guy's edgy."
yeah? But do you think then James Gunn is like, hey, then what are you guys saying about my mind?
I don't think it's horribly beautiful at all.
Yeah, I think it's just beautiful.
No, that's the thing. They should start like putting insults in people. Like they should be like
Excuse me.
the hackneyed from the hackneyed, stilted mind of
Yeah.
I don't know some writer.
There should be one that's like all compliments. It's like from the amazing Oscar-winning, award-winning
From the really nice, attractive mind of James Gunn,
Damien Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle,
Yeah. Um,
the cerebral brain hemorrhage mind of Joss Whedon,
yeah, yeah. Um,
the several pending allegations mind of Joss
James Gunn, I think he asked. See, I think they gave James Gunn like a lot of freedom, the studio Warner Brothers with this movie. So I think the trailer is all him, and I think he thinks his own mind is horribly beautiful.
See,
And
that's
I'm
really bad.
picturing,
That goes from being like, oh, haha, they called me that. When you call your own mind
I think he would
horribly,
though. I think James Gunn would.
you think he gives off that kind of, yeah, he kind of does
Well,
come
he
across
said some
that.
things later that kind of give me that vibe from him that
That you
we'll
would
talk
call your
about.
the horribly beautiful mind of
Yeah. Oh, my mind
Jim.
is so horrible and beautiful at the same time. I just don't know what to do besides make movies that are funny and then oh no, next second someone's getting their head chopped off.
From the
Um
twisted mind of the Joker.
yeah, the Joker. Um so yeah, this movie was good and we should not confuse it with the 2016 movie called Suicide Squad without the in front of it. It's just Suicide Squad. Um so this is the
From the
Suicide Squad.
unfocused, severely damaged mind of David Ayer.
Yes.
Just Suicide Squad.
Yes. That movie's bad. The 2016 movie is not good. It's one of the worst movies I've seen, probably the worst I've seen in theaters. Um
It really sucks that now that guy's got like two movies to his name. One was a pretty good like war movie, and
what
one
was the first movie he made?
Fury with Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, yeah, I've heard
That
of
was
that
pretty
one.
good. And they followed it up with like one of the most embarrassing things ever to be. And it's funny because on Twitter he keeps going like, "Hey, release the Ayer cut," and
Yeah, no
it's
one
like
else is
no
really,
one.
yeah.
You're not Zack Snyder, man. No one wants to see your cut.
Oh, that's so sad though.
No one wants to see more of what that was.
Hey guys, you did that one cool thing with your other movie. What about mine, right? Right? You're gonna release
I,
that too?
I get to make my own cut.
Yeah.
Don't you want to see a version of that
No.
movie that's 4 hours long?
No, we don't need to see Jared Leto as the Joker anymore. We've got
Yeah,
enough
that's
of
the
that.
thing. People are like, "Oh yeah, I wish I could got deeper into Jared Leto's Joker." It's like I wish you'd cut it out
Why?
entirely. I wish it wasn't in the movie at all.
I saw enough to be quite honest.
It sounds like the studio tried to fix the movie and just couldn't polish
Couldn't
that
fix
the
it.
turd. This is the one
Yeah.
time I'm on the studio side.
Okay. Um yeah, so the first one is bad. It's a good concept. I like the concept of um it's like, you
It's like
know,
Dirty
the
Dozen, like
yeah,
Inglorious Bastards.
it's like the ragtag team of people no one really cares about, but they can all kind of do cool stuff. Except the guys who were in the first one, like the stuff they did, maybe it's just the
Kind of
way
lame.
they executed it. It wasn't as cool as the ones in this one. And I think that is due to James Gunn just knows how to make people that aren't cool, no matter what.
Well, I
Uh
think James Gunn, first of all, he's a more experienced director.
yeah.
He's more experienced with that kind of tone. And
Mhm.
like a big problem with the first one is that it's an ensemble film where you really don't know anything about any of these guys. They don't really do anything to make you care about them.
No,
You barely know what their name is.
no. Yeah.
So there's that one guy who dies. His name was like what, like Slingshot. And I didn't
Slipknot. Yeah, yeah, he
I was
dies
like,
like
what was his thing? What was his power? We just knew his name was Slipknot. Was he a rope tire? Did he
he could
did
like
he have
climb
rope?
buildings and stuff, I think, really fast or something. And then he like falls off a building when he dies.
No, yeah, because he's like tries to escape and then they blow his head off, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty funny, yeah. Um, but yeah, they so like in that one, they really did not try at all to make you care about the characters, and so you just didn't like Will Smith. I like Will Smith, but I don't like him there. Um, I think his character can do some cool stuff, but the highlights are kind of like Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie's like very good in that role, and yeah, everyone else was boring, and um the characters that they take from that one and keep in this one are really, really just better in every way. Um, the
They
one
keep
character, Rick
Margot
Flag,
Robbie and Viola Davis.
mhm,
And
it's Viola Davis, Margot Robbie,
like
yeah,
Courtney,
Captain Boomerang, and Rick Flag. I think are the only four. Um, I might be wrong.
because this is a sequel. I know.
It
I
is,
thought it was
yeah,
a I thought it was a remake, but I've heard recently this is a sequel.
it is a continuation like of the same universe. They don't acknowledge it though. They're not like, remember that time we were Suicide Squad without the.
This is worse than the time we were just Suicide Squad.
What are we? Some
The
kind of
Suicide
the
Squad.
Suicide Squad? Yeah.
What,
No, there's none of
what
that.
are some kind of Suicide Squad? Parenthesis 2016 close parenthesis.
Yes. There is one line that I think Polka Dot Man says, and he's like, "This is suicide." And then Rick Flag's like, "Yeah, that's kind of our thing." And I was like, just say the line. Just say we're a
Well, doesn't
suicide squad.
in the trailer Idris Elba is like, "I'm not going to be part of your Suicide Squad." Doesn't he say that?
Wait, that was a really good Idris Elba voice.
Thank you.
I love Idris Elba. He's becoming one of my favorite actors.
Listen, he won my heart in his award-winning role. The award, of course, being the Evan Blackwell Award for Best Actor
Mhm.
as McCavity in Cats the movie.
Yeah, yeah. He won a lot of awards for that role, actually.
Did he win anything at the Razzies for it?
I don't know. I feel
I
like
remember.
Idris Elba's actually a good enough actor that he shouldn't be winning meme awards.
No, see, that's the thing. That was the one thing about that movie is like they got, barring James Corden, they got a bunch of good actors for that, and it's like
Yeah.
embarrassing to watch them all.
Yeah, Ian McKellen and Judy Dench.
See, Ian McKellen didn't embarrass himself as much because it was clear that like he wasn't trying. That they gave him like the script a minute before they turned the camera on. But Idris Elba looked like he was giving it his all, which is what
Yeah.
makes it so much more humiliating.
I love Idris Elba though. Like
He's
I
really
genuine
good.
every time he shows up, I'm just like, this dude is so entertaining. Um, and it's no different. Like there's some scenes where he gets mad early on in this one, and then there's scenes where he's like he's kind of who Amanda Waller, who's Viola Davis, kind of like trusts the most, even though Rick Flag is like kind of the leader too. They're kind of like both the leaders. And Rick Flag is he might be like my second favorite character in this one or something like that. Like he's so boring in the first one. He's just a military dude who
Yeah,
knows all business.
there are so many
He's
characters
good.
who are just like nothing. Like
Yeah.
him and the Katana Girl and Fireman. They were just
Fireman.
nothing of people. They weren't
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah. I genuinely like really liked Rick Flag in this one. He's like kind of funny, and he's not funny in a way that he's trying to be funny. It's just like I don't know, the script just works for a lot of the characters, and I loved John Cena. I actually thought John Cena was good
Mhm.
because his character is like not self-aware at all, but it's like kind of funny how they use him. And there's like some cool action. There's a very cool action sequence with him and Idris Elba side by side, and they're like it reminded me of Hobbs and Shaw actually, which is Idris Elba is in, um, where it's like The Rock and Jason Statham like going down the line, like beating up guys, like competing who can kill people in a cooler way. Like they basically have a scene like that, and it's pretty funny.
Well, once again,
Um,
like again, I haven't seen the movie, I can't say,
yeah,
but uh the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yes.
We've both mentioned how it's probably the best entry in the MCU
Yep, it's my favorite.
because James Gunn is like a good filmmaker,
Hmm.
and in Guardians he did bring some of his like trademark, a mix of like using some sort of juvenile humor and like weirdness with a lot of genuine craft
Yeah.
and like earnestness.
Hmm.
As in, it's weird, but it's not that tongue in cheek, and it's satiric, but it's not detached. It's not super ironic.
Yeah.
It's like it takes itself. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's also not just like hipstery.
Yes.
It rides that balance really well, I think, in a way that other MCU movies didn't do. And it looks like this one has opened the doors a little bit. James Gunn's other films are, I would say, famously very violent, which I'm looking forward to with Suicide Squad. Is
This will they use
the
the
ultra violence stepped up,
they
or
use the R rating to its fullest ability, and it's pretty satisfying, I gotta say. I enjoyed it.
get some Kingsman stuff? That was one
Yeah.
thing I liked about Kingsman. It was very,
Like they kill people in cool ways.
yeah, this sounds, sure, this may sound juvenile, but one thing that these movies are lacking is that, you know, as a rule, sex and violence is kind of dead in these Marvel films.
Yeah.
And I like it when a movie can at least give you a little bit of luridity in your dumb superhero movie.
Hmm.
Put some bread and circuses in there. If you're gonna,
Yeah.
a comic book film, make it fun. Give it teeth. Give it a bite.
If you want to see people die in cool ways, the first 15 minutes of this movie will be good for you. That's all I'll say. Um, but uh, yeah, yeah, I liked it. I think if moving forward, DC can just not every DC movie has to be a James Gunn movie, but like just give a filmmaker
You're
a
supposed to have
certain.
the best two, from what it sounds like, the
Mhm.
best two DC movies were a James Gunn one and a Todd Phillips one,
Yes.
where they're not super bound by continuity and by like having to fit into a puzzle piece.
Hmm.
All the best movies, really, and you see it in the MCU as well. That was the reason Guardians worked. It didn't feel like a puzzle, like it was fitting in a giant masterwork.
Hmm.
It only ever really tied into the other movies at the very end credit sequence.
Yes.
That was a fun little gag that they threw in.
Yes.
So hopefully, I think this marks a good turn for the DCEU. They're giving like a lot more agency to their directors to just make fun movies that people like. And who knew that was a good strategy?
Who knew that was allowed either? Um, I think yeah, just give like James Gunn and the Suicide Squad like just a good idea. Just say James Gunn, do a Suicide Squad movie, cast whoever you want, write it however you want, kill whoever you want, go. And he did that, and it was good. Like they probably were like Matt Reeves, here's Batman, make a Batman movie. Go. Hopefully, I hope, because it looks like that's what it could be.
Shazam, I liked Shazam a lot. And I think it's because there was really no MCU to DCEU tie-ins at all. I
Hmm.
think Superman is mentioned once by name, and that's about it. Like we
Yeah.
know this is in the same world as Superman, but we didn't have Henry Cavill show up for like 15 minutes and make the movie about him,
Yeah.
which helped that movie so much. It made it just a nice, fun, charming little kids film.
Hmm. Yeah. So I know DC's listening to us and Warner Brothers. So my advice to them is just
Hire us. We'll work. We'll sell you a script.
yes. Um just stop trying to be Marvel. You're not Marvel, you won't be. And that I don't mean that in a bad way. Like if every movie franchise was Marvel, that would be so bad for every movie franchise. Marvel is what it
Look
is.
what Star Wars was trying to do, and look at how embarrassing that ended up. Look at that
Yes.
through what had to have been billions of dollars just down the gutter with those three movies.
Hmm.
Well, I guess they made money, so not down the gutter. But still,
Uh,
regardless, 3 movies that are each very difficult to watch.
yeah. Um, yeah, just give your director a group of characters or a character and say, here it is. Do what you want with it. You can end it how you want. We don't need this character in the future. We're not building to a big Thanos event. Just do what you want, make your movie, and we trust you. That's all they've got to do. And I think it would work out for them because we've seen a couple good movies when they've done that. So, yeah, that's about it, though. Anything else?
Uh, well, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really
Yeah,
pause it.
yeah, yeah.
But speaking of just letting an artistic
Movies.
shine through,
Mm-hmm.
I recently saw a really amazing film that I really liked called The Green Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give it away, but not going to give too much away. But it tells the story of a knight, a member of the King Arthur table, who sets on a journey after he believes he's defeated the Green Knight in battle, but turns out he hasn't.
Oh.
Green Knight is alive. He picks up his decapitated head and tells him to fight him in 1 year.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to give it away, but it's the movie is kind of like this knight's march to what seems like certain death in his journey, and it's a beautiful, like, I mean that, like, really, like,
Hmm.
visually it's one of the most just good looking movies I've seen in a very long time. Dev Patel plays
Yeah.
the main character. I forgot his name. Just the Knight, I guess.
That night.
But Dev Patel it's probably the best performance I've seen all year.
Wow.
Like, Dev Patel's been in a lot of good stuff before, but this is like a career making performance. I'm
Wow.
calling it now at least some award, at least
Okay.
like Critics' Choice or something.
Okay.
Like, it's hypnotizing, a hypnotizing movie in general. Because, like, I don't know how to describe it, but the movie kind of isn't divided really into scenes almost. It
Okay.
kind of all flows like honey.
Like, do they cut a lot?
They do. They cut
Okay.
a lot. But I mean, like, it's very smooth how one idea transitions to the next.
Okay.
And, like, when you see some, like, when it gets into fantasy, right? When it moves from just regular medieval story into like fantastical story. There's one scene where he's talking with these 3 giants, and for a movie that was made on like 1/12 the budget of like Black Widow, the effects here look like 1,000 times better. And you save money when you don't just hire a cast of all like A-listers, and B, you shoot one on location. A lot of this you can tell was shot like around Europe, around continent. I don't know if continental Europe. It might have been shot in the UK. I don't really know, but it was shot outside. Like, it doesn't look like it was shot in a studio with a green screen 10 feet away from the actors. It feels lived in. It feels real. It feels real. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have to be real. It just has to feel real. And Green Knight is very successful in doing that. So if you're watching this at home, I heavily recommend watching this movie. See it now or tomorrow or whenever you have time.
I did not know this was an A24 movie.
It is.
Yeah.
See it in the. I do recommend you to see it in the theaters, though.
Okay.
Don't be sneaky. Don't. I had to be sneaky and watch the rest of it at home because I watched it very late and nodded off a few times. That's one thing about this movie. It's very hypnotizing, so it might put you down a little bit. But
Is it on a streaming service?
I don't know. I kind of jumped the gun and just found it.
Mm-hmm.
But It might be. It honestly might be streaming somewhere. I have no idea.
Okay.
But no, I don't think it's streaming.
Okay.
But it's excellent, and the ending, as I'm not going to give it away, but it's so poignant. It's been a long time since I've like earnestly like rooted for a character as much as I did in this.
Yeah.
Like Dev Patel really makes you go like, ooh, win, Dev.
Yeah.
Want you to win.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. I know it's I might be able to see it in like a couple weeks maybe, because I don't think I can see it this week, but I would like to watch it.
I also saw Escape Room 2, which was
Yes.
stupid fun.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about it. It's stupid as dirt, but you'll have a good time.
It actually looks kind of entertaining. I saw the trailers in the theater a couple times.
I remember the thing that's unrealistic about it, as I remember I was watching it with all my friends, and this one time they get like stuck in like a grid room where there's lasers everywhere, and they have to decipher the clues, and the clues are like, it's like poems. It's like, if you look to the top of the clock tower C, then find a man will be. And I was like, I would have just killed myself at this point.
Yeah.
I would have just sat there and just waited for whatever bad thing to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess they're
Nothing can be worse than this.
I feel like if I was in that scenario, it would be like when I was in a real escape room, which is just, I would stick to my guns with my wrong answer and end up killing myself.
Yeah.
It would be like, no, you have to step on this tile, and I'd step on the tile and immediately burst into flames.
I like it.
Dummies, you're supposed to do this, and then I get cut to pieces.
I like how they say, what is this? Some kind of tournament of champions? And that's what the movie's called.
What is this? Some kind of escape room? And then another character goes, oh, the tournament of champions.
Oh, yeah.
And then, what is this? Some kind of escape room? 2 tournament of champions?
Yeah. Escape room. Yeah. I can't believe they made a movie about escape room. It's pretty cool.
I didn't see the first one, maybe,
I didn't
but
either.
Also the first 5 minutes of Escape Room 2 is just like a highlight reel of the first movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they go through all the rooms and like all the clues and stuff. Like for like 5 minutes, it's just a recap of the first one.
Previously on Escape Room.
And I remember it ended, and I was like, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
I could have guessed what happened.
Yeah, they probably escaped the room if there's a second one.
Yeah, they just have to be like, because we then see the main girl, and she's like got PTSD from the room, and I'm like,
they could have just explained it through that.
Yeah, you could have just shown the girl and been like, okay, are you good to get on a plane? I know you've been, and it's not like they go like, since the thing happened, and they're like, are you good to go on the plane? I've been kind of scared since, that time we were locked in a killer escape room.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty funny.
It's like, it does feel like a movie that you would normally watch like on the Sci-Fi Channel, but in the best way possible.
That's good.
If you wanted to see The Purge because you thought The Purge would be stupid fun, see Escape Room 2 instead.
Yeah. I can see that being the case.
Stupid. It wasn't that fun.
Yeah. You want to talk about Disney? Disney being bad people?
Well, yeah. Speaking of movies released on streaming, Emma Stone, as well as, was Emma Stone the first one to?
I think it was Scarlett was the first one, and then Emma Stone was like, "Good idea."
Yes, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney, Emily Stone as well, and so is Emily Blunt.
Oh, Emily Blunt is too. I didn't see that.
Emma Stone. I said Emily Stone. I don't know. Emma Stone, Emily Blunt, and Gerard Butler.
Really? I didn't. It was Gerard Butler in the Jungle.
He's not suing Disney. He's suing his own studio, whatever.
Oh.
But it's for a different but related matter. Basically, Disney, I guess, must have breached a contract or something like that with
Disney That's
movies
the
online.
argument being made.
Yeah. And so, and that's the thing. You can tell Disney's guilty because their response was like, hey, you don't know how hard it was to make these
Hmm.
movies during a
Yeah.
pandemic, which means that they're in the wrong.
Means, yeah.
If you immediately go to making an excuse, that means you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're not
Yes.
like, I didn't breach any contract. You're like, hey, 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 I was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That's
You
not
don't
one, that's not
understand how
something
hard
you're
it
going to say in a
was.
court of law.
Yeah. Um, Wait,
Of
so is Emily Blunt actually suing for Jungle Cruise too, or did you just say the
She
wrong name?
just said she was going. She said she wanted to.
I didn't know they were releasing that one on Disney Plus too.
Yeah, Premier Access.
Wow. I didn't know Jungle
No,
Cruise.
it's already been released, and I think the fact that no one's heard about it kind of says something. But I don't know if the
True.
movie's good or not. I really have no desire to see it.
I have none either. Sorry. But
I'm sure when it sweeps the Academy Awards, we'll have evidence.
right.
But,
Welcome crawling back.
but
Um,
as of right now, I think we're sticking some guns on this.
do you think The Rock's gonna sue? Probably
The
not.
Rock said he was not going to sue,
I don't think
and
The Rock cares.
I think one, The Rock doesn't care. I'm sure The Rock got his fat paycheck anyway,
Yeah.
and I don't think that The Rock is going to be, you know, pissing away any of that Disney money that he's got
Yeah.
for being in whatever Marvel movie they want him in.
Yeah. Plus he's gonna be in all the DC upcoming movies anyway.
Oh yeah, he's in almost decent.
So he's
I think
yeah,
he's just not. I think
he's
he's
all
not
right.
going to rock any waves right now.
No, yeah. Yeah. Um,
This franchise has been treating him too good.
yeah. So I mean, I don't really know how much there is to talk about because yeah, I'm pretty sure they breached the contract. Disney did. Like, they I
I
don't
mean,
I don't think they
realistically,
should have released these big movies on Disney Plus anyway.
I think they should have at the very least released them in theaters and then I don't know, like sold like a DVD or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have done it with like this Premier Access thing.
Yeah, because if you're already paying for Disney Plus, you're not going to want to pay more to watch a movie.
Right.
I mean, you would probably save money going to the theater, right? I mean,
You'd spend less money going to theaters, but people are very lazy. And
yeah,
also, I get not wanting to go see Cruella de Vil the movie in theaters.
sure.
And so, yeah, but like that's still a breach of contract. And granted, realistically, Disney's got like the best lawyers on earth. I'm
Right.
sure they're, and this is granted, I imagine Emma Stone, Scarlett Johansson, and Emily Blunt can all manage to pull forth a pretty good legal team.
Yeah,
But who knows? This seems like a very obvious breach of contract, though, which gives me, and there's a lot of them doing it,
it's very one-sided. Yeah.
right?
My
Which
only
gives me
thing
cause
is
to think that it might be successful.
I wonder how much I mean, the actresses slash actors if they decide to they'll probably win the case.
Right.
I wonder how much money they'll get.
Hey, I wonder what the fallout of this will.
I
See,
guess
I'm
it's
hoping,
significant enough to where they feel like they would be missing out if they were silent about it. You know what I mean?
right. And we already talked about how Disney said they're moving away from those big contracts that they used to sign actors to,
Yeah.
which hopefully that's not going to be the thing. It's like, okay, well, we're just not going to give you, we're just going to tell you up front you're not getting any money from this instead.
Yeah. I mean,
Ideally, hopefully, this might just cause some kind of disruption to the studio system. It
yeah.
might tell them, like, hey, you got to stop running these movies on an algorithm.
Hmm.
You got to stop having AI make and distribute these films.
Yeah.
Care a little bit about filmmaking and as an art, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Evan and I kind of had our anti-studio talk before we started recording, but it's the same when you think, I mean, obviously different situations because this is like a legal situation. But it's the same when you talk about like Warner Brothers and like how a studio just feels obligated to like hover over their filmmakers and their films. It's like just give a little freedom.
I mean,
People can
listen,
make
you
good
look at
movies if you let them.
whether you like or dislike the Snyder cut of the Justice League, I feel like either way, you have to acknowledge that the theatrical one was like significantly worse
Yeah.
when the studio got its hands on it and it was like, hey, we're gonna make it our way.
Hmm. Yeah, it's at least like even if it ends up being bad, even if it's a bad movie, at least let the filmmaker get the movie they wanted to make out there. Because, like, why did the studios care so much?
It's much, much rarer that studios save a bad movie than they do like it's more common that studios kill good movies than they save bad ones.
Right, right, yeah,
That happens way more often than the other way around.
yeah,
Because the person who's making the movie knows how it should be made,
yeah.
not
If it's their
someone
idea, let them complete it.
right. A guy who's like there filming the movie probably knows a little bit better about it than someone who's sitting at home in California and getting like the dailies like emailed to them,
Yeah.
watching it being like, hey, change that.
Hmm.
Hey, make his suit more colorful.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
our little spiel about the Disney Corporation.
Yes. That being said, Disney, I
If
have a
you are
lot of time
hiring,
on my
then
hands. I'll write your next movie about whatever ride in your Disney park. Splash Mountain the movie. Oh,
yeah,
that's
I have
problematic.
actually a good Space
Oh,
Mountain screenplay written up,
yeah.
as well as a treatment for pilot for an It's a Small World miniseries.
Yes. Yeah, we have a miniseries planned. It'll be starring James Corden.
Mhm. As
He'll
the world,
Yes,
as the
and he will sing It's a Small World by himself. But yeah, Jungle Cruise, the movie. Um, what do you think happens in that movie?
it doesn't. I don't think it matters. I really don't think there's a screen. I don't think there's a script for that movie.
No.
I think they just had like the CEO of Disney there being like, "Hey, make sure you mention our park
Yeah, right. Yeah, we have a
time
ride with
and
this.
improv the rest."
Yeah. Do you think now when you go back to Disney at the Jungle Cruise ride, it'll be like, hey, it's The Rock.
Featured in the motion picture.
It'll be like he's the guy, like The Rock's like giving you the instructions, like keep your hands and feet inside the boat at all times.
Can you imagine if they made like Jurassic Park the ride, the movie,
Yeah, yeah,
the Back to the Future ride, the movie?
yeah. Normalize movies about rides, to be quite honest. That's what we should take away from this.
Recently, kind of off topic, but on topic.
It's
Recently,
okay.
I went to a Six Flags,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so funny how Six Flags. It's really depressing because they
Mm-hmm.
have all the leftover IP from like other studios. Like they have all
Right.
Warner Brothers stuff. So while like Universal Studios has like Marvel Land
Yeah.
and Simpsons Land, and even like Dr. Seuss Land, and Disney has like the Disney rides and Star Wars World. And then you go to like Six Flags and they've got look at Bugs Bunny's crazy adventure. Look at
Wait, I thought
Daffy
Looney
Duck's wet
Tunes.
wonderland.
Wait, so is Looney Tunes have does Six Flags have like Warner Brothers?
Yeah, so they have Looney Tunes
Okay.
and they have DC.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Because I know Universal has some Marvel stuff, but it's only like
It's only the
Spider.
rides, I think.
It's like Spider-Man, Hulk.
Yeah.
That's it, kind of. And then,
I think
but
there's
they
like
have Harry Potter.
and they have the right, they have the Harry Potter world. This
Yes.
is the thing. You get on a Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios, and it's like you walk in through a cavern,
Yes.
and it's like you have all the people in the you have those holograms and stuff like that. You
Everyone's
walk
so
into the
into it
Warner
too.
Brothers ride, you walk into like Superman the ride, and it's
Yeah.
like a shack. It's a
Uh,
shack that's painted red, and then It's just a
So
red ride that has a
I feel
decal.
like you could make good like theme park attractions for DC too, probably.
I know, but I think Six Flags just kind of like the
Well,
beta.
yeah, they probably don't care. Yeah. That's sad.
Well, I feel like it's because there's like two Universals and there's two Disneys,
True.
but there's like what 15 Six Flags just littered.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, yeah. So make less Six Flags. Quality over quantity. That's what I say.
I know in the amusement park game, Warner Brothers, you're really lacking behind. You got to step your game up.
Yeah, for real.
Universal is beating you.
They're beating you.
Embarrassed.
All right, what else do we have to talk about?
Speaking of movies,
Speaking of what?
speaking of new movies, don't we have some new movies coming up?
There's some new movies coming up. Are you foreshadowing the two trailers for movies we saw this week, as far as one being the star of the social media app TikTok, and the other has James Corden.
I was really trying to think of like I was trying to name a single song she's written, and I couldn't come up with that name.
Yeah.
So we're
so
talking.
If you don't know what we're talking about, yeah, Evan, go ahead.
We're talking about first of all, star of TikTok. I guess really the second star of TikTok isn't Charlie D'Amelio.
She's probably the biggest, yeah, second biggest, I would say.
Well, if you are a big fan of the second biggest TikTok influencer, then you will love this. Looks like it was made for YouTube movie.
Yep.
He's all that.
He's all that. So this is a
gender swapped remake.
Yes, of She's All That, which is a 90s movie.
It's a 90s teen romantic movie. It's based on the play Pygmalion.
Okay.
Source for My Fair Lady. In case
my biggest question to you is how soon before they started filming the Heat, what's this one called? He's All That or She's All That? Okay. How soon before filming He's All That did Addison Rae watch She's All That? I give it a week max.
I give it never.
Okay, you don't think she's seen it still?
Actually, I don't know. I feel like She's All That. It's not like 10 Things I Hate About You, right?
Yeah, it's not like a classic.
That's a classic movie.
Yeah.
I feel like She's All That was kind of forgotten.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think someone was just like,
to be honest, I watched it when I was like a kid, I think, but I barely when I was like. It's funny how once you start getting to high school, a lot of shows set in high school really start losing their appeal.
Yeah,
but it's one of the lesser ones.
Yes,
it's based on one of the better plays, I guess. But here we see Addison Rae. She's making over this outsider skater guy.
He's so gross.
He doesn't look. Here's the thing.
No,
it's I went to high school in America. That guy would have been the coolest guy on campus. I feel like.
Yeah. Also, how badly drawn on is that? Like it's like it's not a beard, but it's like very clearly drawn on. Yeah.
Everything about this movie looks like a student film.
Yes, I would agree with that. I give this trailer 0 out of 10. Will watch the full movie for a good couple laughs,
though. You will be alone on that venture.
You're not even gonna watch it to laugh at it.
I don't think I will. This movie looks like
I'll only watch it if I'm with friends. Put it that way, to laugh at it.
I mean, this is a Netflix original, but it looks like those movies. Those like really bad shows. Remember when they were trying to sell like YouTube Red? And they were like, we have content on YouTube Red, and it was like the worst looking thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what this entire show looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks bad. Do you think the Cinderella movie looks any better?
It
Starring
does look,
Camila Cabello.
once again, not gonna see it, but I feel there's a better chance of me seeing this movie because I feel like my mom would love it.
Really? I'm not gonna watch this one at all. I'll say that.
I don't think I'd watch either, but
Yeah.
of the two, I think there's a higher likelihood that I'll end up seeing the Cinderella movie.
Okay.
I'll end up seeing She's All That. This movie, I mean, it looks bland but good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Billy Porter as the fairy godmother. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the novelty of that kind of wears off after about like the trailer. So
Yeah.
got Pierce Brosnan as the king.
Yeah. Once I saw Pierce Brosnan, I was kind of thrown off a little bit. I was like, "Why are you here?"
Is he gonna sing again? Like he sang in Mamma Mia?
I really hope he sings. It probably wouldn't be the worst singing we hear in that movie.
Listen, I've never. I feel like I'd have to have at least heard one Camila Cabello song.
Camila. Yeah, I think it's Camila Cabello.
Camila Cabello.
Havana.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably her most famous song.
I
Yeah,
kind of
that's
don't
her.
really get the plot of this one because it's supposed to be like modern, but there's still like kings and queens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
I don't
Ella,
know.
her name is Ella. She's like a girl boss in this.
Mm-hmm.
And though she begins as a girl boss, so how does she girl boss her way to being
True. True.
like she begins as a small business owner
Yeah.
who is somehow, old enough to run a business that has her name on the marquee or has her name on the storefront,
Mm-hmm.
but also young enough to be under the thumb of her stepmother. So I don't
Right.
really.
Yeah. Okay. That's enough of that. Some
That's
other
enough of those.
some other little things. The Rock will not be in the last two Fast and Furious movies. I just had to share this for my own personal sake because The Rock, I mean, when he's in the Fast and Furious movies, he's kind of the best part. So this is going to be sad. I wish he would at least be in the finale, but it seems him and Vin Diesel are never gonna, fix their issues. So that's sad. Jason Statham will be back though, hopefully. Um, Travis Scott is developing a movie with A24.
Oh, right. Yes.
I feel like that's a match made in heaven. Like if Travis Scott's gonna make a movie, it's gotta be an A24 movie.
I really hope. Did you see the trailer for that new A24 horror movie about like the Lamb Boy?
No, I don't think I did. What's it
They
called?
like
Do you know?
I think it's called Lamb Boy.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's called Lamb Boy, but it
It
might
would be
be.
funny if it was.
It's like about like a family that gives birth to a boy who's like a lamb.
Really?
They're like taking care of it, and it's like, it's my little lamb boy.
This sounds thrilling.
I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, "This what?"
Did you laugh at it, or was it like
I was laughing. I was like,
so they didn't make it compelling at all?
"Let me see." I'm trying to look up Lamb Boy movie A24. It's just called Lamb, actually.
Lamb.
Hey, it won a movie at Cannes.
Wow.
Looks less cute than it sounds. That's true. Yeah, maybe it grows up and they have to slaughter it.
That'd be funny.
Yeah,
Well,
they have to make it into. They converteth me into lamb cutlets. To love and great power and great hunger.
yeah. Okay. I think that's about it. Did you watch anything else you want to talk about?
Watched the movie Barry Lyndon after a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Okay.
And I wonder, Declan, I have to ask, have you
Yes.
ever seen the film Battle Royale?
I've not.
Have you heard of it?
I've probably heard of it.
So it's like the Hunger Games, or really Running Man.
Okay.
It was made about 15 years before the Hunger Games came out,
Okay.
and it's Japanese, and it's super violent.
Nice.
So it's
Maybe I'll
good.
check it out one day.
It's funny. It's funnier than the Hunger Games, and it's like more pointedly. It's one more exploitative and satirical, which were two things that I remember wanting more of when I watched the Hunger Games.
Okay.
Well, not when I watched it. When I watched it, I was like, I think 9. I didn't really care about
Yeah,
that
hunger
stuff.
like
But
yeah.
like looking like in retrospect on that series, those
Sure.
are two things that I kind of wish they had delved into more.
Took itself less seriously.
Or not even that, just
Okay.
like had more fun with the concept.
Okay, yeah. I can see that. Um, all right. I don't think I have anything else. I watched Twilight for the first time. If you want to laugh with your friends at a movie, watch one of the Twilight movies.
Okay.
If you want to watch a genuinely good and funny movie with your friends, watch the Muppets movie from 2011 because that movie is genuinely great. And no, I'm not being satirical right now. I actually love it.
It's a great film.
It's a great film, and the music's great too.
I must make the plea to you. If you like that movie, you should also check out the one with
The
Steve
original.
Martin, Dom DeLuise, the
All right.
original. Yeah.
I do need to watch every ounce of Muppets content there is. So
The Muppet Christmas Carol is a very fun movie. A very so this Christmas actually, I did like a little project where I was trying to watch every version of A Christmas Carol. Didn't work. I only watched like 7,
okay,
but of the 7 I watched, that's one of the best.
okay. All right. Would you like to read some letterbox reviews?
I would.
All right. Would you like to go first?
I will.
All right.
First review comes from Movie Enjoyer 12,
Mm.
who gives the film Yojimbo 1 star.
Ooh.
Says, Fist of Dollars ripoff. Now, I would like to point out for our audience that Yojimbo did come out in 1961,
Okay.
and A Fistful of Dollars came out in 1964.
Uh,
So I
impossible.
no, I say it is possible, and it proves my theory of Akira Kurosawa having godlike powers,
Okay. A soothsayer.
if you will.
Okay. Um, I have a review for Twilight, the movie from 2008. I thought it came out in 2011. 2008's actually wow. Um, did you know Robert Pattinson was 23 in the first movie? Just a
Hmm.
fun fact. This review is a one no, it doesn't a 3-star review from Lily. And it says Robert Pattinson wasn't acting, that's just how he is in real life. Now you would have to see the movie Twilight to understand this review. Robert Pattinson is a weirdo in this movie, and he's really off-putting, and it's just not a good time watching him when he's on screen. He looks like they make him look so pale, and it's just yeah, just watch the movie. That's all I have to say.
You know, you might convince me. I might actually watch it.
They're all on Netflix now. That's why we watch them.
All of them?
Yeah, I think so.
You watch all 4 of those movies?
No, I didn't watch all of them, but they're all on Netflix now, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I probably will watch them all though. I'm invested. I watched like half of the second one. That's all.
Okay. Our second review is for Elita Battle Angel.
Okay.
5 stars. Watch this on an airplane, and it's probably in my top 5.
Mhm.
But I will say the person who gave this review is Chad,
Mhm.
and I must agree with that opinion. It is a very Chad opinion to put your top 5 movies as something you watched in an airplane once.
Yeah. I feel like watching a movie on an airplane is just like a like if you watch a movie on an airplane, you're trying to just not think about the flight. So it's not as much about watching the movie as it is distracting yourself.
I think watching or really enjoying anything on an airplane is the worst way to enjoy anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even sleeping on an airplane isn't good sleep. You never
No.
wake up feeling refreshed.
Nope. Yeah. It's a good discussion we just had. My second review is for The Muppets 2011, starring Jason Segel and Amy Adams. It's a 4-star review from Jeff. And there's some colorful language in this, which I would not dare say on our program.
No.
Um, so I won't say that, but I'll read the review. And this says it's fine if you don't like this movie, but it probably means you're an angry, hate-filled a-hole. F you.
Wow.
Um, I agree with this. If you don't enjoy a movie it is a kids movie, but that doesn't mean only kids can enjoy it. Like if you like this movie's just genuinely a fun movie. And if you don't like it, well, I think that says more about you than the movie.
So you're a big fan of this film, I take
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
it?
Yeah.
I feel like with kids' movies, it's like it's hard as a not kid to talk
Hmm.
about them because every time I see a kids' movie and I end up not liking it, I'm
Hmm.
like, what did you like? For example, I have seen the last 30 minutes of Space Jam 2.
Okay.
And no, I didn't like it. But also it feels like vacuous to say I didn't like Space Jam 2 because it's like, well, even if it was a great movie, would I have liked it, you know?
Yes.
This could have been like an
Hmm.
Oscar winning Space Jam 2. But like it couldn't have been a great Space Jam 2 because it's Space Jam 2.
Hmm.
Like it's hard for me to discuss the movie on its own terms because its own terms are a bad movie.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And so that's the thing about kids movies. And there are some kids movies that are like good. That are good kids movies. There are a lot of great kids movies. You
Hmm.
can talk about The Wizard of Oz as a real movie. You can talk about what's something more recent. You can talk about like a lot of Pixar stuff as real movies, but
Hmm.
it runs a fine line with criticizing these kind of popcorn stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, last review is for Cruella from Warren Genders, who gives it 1/2 star and
Hmm.
says, gave me an anxiety attack. Not really about it.
Okay.
And I do give props to this proud poster for, facing their fear of dogs
Hmm.
this in this incredible anxiety thriller,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
Cruella.
Cruella. Her mom gets killed by dogs.
Gave me an anxiety attack, I know.
My last review is for a 4.5-star review for the Muppets 2011 from James. And this says, I threw up a little when I saw the Cars 2 billboard. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the 2011 film The Muppets, there is at the end a dance sequence in the streets of a big town, and there is a gigantic poster for the movie Cars 2. And it's so obvious, like it's not even like they're in Times Square and there's all these advertisements. It's like just it's like just Cars 2. and it takes up like a good amount of the screen. Like you can't miss it. You
That is the funniest way to like date any kind of movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Is to put an advertisement for a movie that's coming out the
Yeah.
same year.
And it's just like, oh man, it's pretty funny. And
That'd be like, especially knowing that Cars 2 being the smashing success that it was.
right. So I
I feel like
guess
if you
this
were
means
watching a movie in the 80s and halfway through they just like held on a sticker that said like vote for Walter Mondale, you know?
yeah, yeah.
It's just the worst way to date anything ever.
Um
Put an advertisement in it.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, there is a Cars 2 Joe or
It's
poster
like when you see a movie
billboard.
that does product placement for a product that like doesn't exist anymore.
Hmm.
Like embarrassing.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, way to go, Disney. You really marketed your movies well. Uh
It's also like, was Cars 2 like a low profile release? I feel like
no,
everyone
no.
knew Cars 2 was coming
Yeah,
out. You
yeah. You
didn't
didn't
need to
need the
tell them.
Muppets movie to. I think if anything, you should have advertised the Muppets movie in Cars too.
The Muppets, at that point, they didn't have their own TV show yet.
Yeah. Do you think Kermit the Frog saw Cars too?
Oh, most definitely.
Do you
He
think he
worked,
enjoyed it?
doesn't he
Probably
work
not.
for,
Yeah, probably. All right, that's about it. Um, we hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, whatever. Tell us you want to talk about a movie you like instead of movies we like, or don't do that, or just watch and cheer in silence. Cheer us on.
tell us a movie in the comments,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you whether I think that you were adopted or not.
Okay. All right.
Trade offs.
See you next Friday, everyone. Goodbye.